This will be a demonstration in registering a new patient. When you want to register a new patient, you have to be in the Dentrix family file. The picture, it's very tiny here on this screen, but you can see it's a file folder with two little people in the corner. Click on that icon and you'll be able to access that from your icon bar in your Dentrix when you log in. This screen will come up. The way to access the new patient is you're going to click on this icon with the blue boy. When you click on that, it's going to bring up select a patient. You can select someone that's already in the system, but when you want to enter a new patient, which is what I'm asking you to do, you would come down here to New Family. Click on that, and it's going to bring up another box. In that box, we have options to put the name. This is a user-friendly tab program. If you tab from item to item, it'll do things for you. I'm going to type in my last name without capitalizing the H. I'm going to tab and it will automatically do it in Dentrix for you. Okay, so you continue on and you can tab through this. Now when I ask you to register a patient, I'm going to ask you to fill in the fields for last name, first name, whether it's a patient of record, and typically it will be a patient. You can change that in this drop-down box right here. I want to keep it as patient. I want to change this to female, whatever is appropriate for your patient. This says single on a default. You can select other items from here. So in this case, I'm going to click on married. You always need to have a provider in this box. This would be a doctor number. There should be one that automatically defaults. If not, this box here that has the two little chevron marks, you can click on that and pick. Always you want the provider to have a DDS before it. So you could click either one of the DDS that happen, any of the ones that happen to be in your system. Say OK. That's a very important field. It will not allow you to register that patient without a selection for a doctor. Then a personal birth date. If I want you to put that in, I would like you to practice doing that. So go ahead and put a date of birth. In the boxes with numbers, like birth dates, social security numbers, telephone numbers, you don't need to use any slashes or dashes or things like that. So you can put in a date and it will go ahead and okay. And you'll see that it changes. Okay, then a social security number, you always want to make that up. You would never want to use your own, but you need 8 numbers. You can tab there, and it will take care of that for you. I think I put in one too many numbers. Okay, you can see you've got your other numbers. And then on the address, okay, when we tab here, it's going to allow you to do your street address. So I'm just going to do 123 Happy Lane. Okay, and then when I click tab, it's going to give me an option for a second line. This might be for an apartment number, a suite number, that type of thing. I want you to tab after that. It's going to go strictly to zip. Okay, so I'm going to put in a zip code. Okay, now I'm going to tab again, and it recognized that zip code because I've used it before in this computer. But if I use one, I'm going to pick a different one here. Okay, and I'm going to hit the tab key, and it's going to bring up a box because it doesn't recognize the city. I want you to see that because I want you to take the time when that happens. Let's say you're using zip code for your own address. Okay, so and it might not be in the system. So this box will come up, so I want you to put the city. In this case, I'm going to put my city of Port Orchard. Okay, and then I'm going to tab down to the state. I'm going to change it to Washington. It's defaulting to Utah because this software is actually home-based in Utah, in American Fork, Utah. Okay, then I'm going to tell it okay, and now in the future, if I use this zip code of 98367, it will bring up my city and the state for me correctly. Okay, that's an important feature. I like you to pay attention to that. We can skip on the email. I would like you to always use a phone number. Okay, one phone number is necessary. Once again, no dashes are necessary when you're putting that in. Okay, and typically you don't want to associate a real phone number with a person in our software. Okay, and then tabbing it, you'll see that it sets it up in the proper format. And then I have completed all the necessary items that would be required for the actual patient registration here. So I'm going to say okay. All right, so now when we look at this, you can see your patient's name, you can see all the details that you put in there. The first person that you put into a new family would be always designated as the head of household guarantor. Okay, we typically would never want to enter a child. If you're entering a child in the system, you would want to enter a parent first. It is something that can be changed, but at this point, just try to think about that in advance. I want to also show you how we would add another family member. Okay, so in this case, I've got a family file set up. I'm noted as the head of household guarantor. Now, in order to do the additional person, we need to use this little icon up here. It's next to our blue boy, and it's saying add a new family member. It's a person, a plus sign, and a smaller person. So we're going to click on that, and what it's going to do is bring up the important items that you added into the family file from before. So we've got the last name, and I'll go ahead and put my husband in here. Okay, so we'll put Phil in here, and then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to see that yes, he's a patient, he's male. I'm going to make him married to me. Okay, and then I'm going to put a date of birth in here, and okay, and it's not an actual date of birth, just in case you want to send him a birthday card. Haha. Okay. All right, so I'm going to tab Social Security number. All right. Got my numbers in there. Obviously not a real Social Security number. Okay, and then it's already picked up our address that we had before, our home phone number. If I wanted to put in a person's mobile number, cell number, I would use other. I think the system ought to make a cell on there. But a lot of people use that as their home number too, and you can always do that for a patient as well. Just so there is a phone number in there to access. Okay, and we've got everything else filled in, so you can see that it's much quicker to enter the second person. So I can say okay. So now what we have here is we have the head of household guarantor, then we have another person, and we now have a family there. Now if I had children at home or I wanted to enter a child, everything would be the same. It doesn't matter. Any extra people you want to add, you are just going to add another family member. Okay, so that is our demonstration today in how to add a new patient into Dentrix. I would like you to practice on that and enter people, and keep a list of the people that you enter, because I'll be having you do different projects, and it's nice to keep a list so that you know who's in your system and who you put in, because you won't be able to pull up a roster of all of your patients. The system doesn't allow for that. Okay, thank you and goodbye.